Hello and welcome to another PlanetDestiny video. Today we'll be going over the Fang of Iriut. The Fang of Iriut is a legendary scout rifle that drops off hard mode Crota. Since it's a primary weapon from the raid, it has arc damage and the normal Hive Disruptor perk. It features a wider range of perks that allow for extreme customization and can be used to great success in both PvP and PvE. The good, Fang of Iriut has the same rate of fire of 37 and impact of 48 as Visions of Confluence, the scout rifle from the Vault of Glass. This makes using the gun a pretty similar experience as far as damage goes. While Vision of Confluence will still fire a slight bit faster due to its auto-fire perk, the overall gunplay is virtually the same. The impact of 48 will cause tier 1 enemies at level 30 to take 340 body shot damage and 1019 precision damage. It'll take around 3 to 4 body shots or 1 to 2 precision shots depending on the enemy type to take down a level 30 tier 1 enemy. For tier 2 enemies, you'll be doing 300 body damage and 459 precision. This translates to about 8 or 9 precision shots and around 16 body shots. It will also take less to kill a Hive tier 2 enemy due to the Hive Disruptor perk doing an extra 394 damage per shot. In PvP, you'll be doing 41 on the body and 61 to the head, so it's a minimum 4-shot kill as long as 2 shots land on the head. The range of 75 is also higher than Vision of Confluence's 59. This actually comes in handy in the Crota's end raid because most of the time you're going to be killing things from a pretty far range. In the second encounter, if you need to help kill some mobs that are across the chasm, you can do that without switching to your sniper rifle. The base reload speed of 67 is also very similar to Vision of Confluence's 65. Fortunately, Fang of Iriut does have spray and play perk, which will massively boost the reload speed when the mag is empty. Fang of Iriut also comes with a very wide range of scopes. The standard scope will give you the best ability, but the second one will give you a bit more versatility since it's more open, letting the gun be used at medium range a little bit better. Fortunately, the bad things are rather limited as well. The scout rifle only comes with a 15-round magazine, which is pretty low compared to Visions of Confluence's 19. Of course, you can upgrade it to 27 rounds with the Field Scout perk, but then you're going to be losing out on the massive stability increase from Perfect Balance. Personally, I chose Perfect Balance since the reload is just so quick with spray and play that it doesn't really affect your overall gameplay. The marker talent is also interesting as it places a large green pulsating beacon on a target for 4.5 seconds, but it doesn't really feel useful outside of very niche circumstances. For instance, it's nice to see it happen in PvP where the targets will often run behind cover. If the cover's low enough, you can see exactly where they are based on the large flashing icon and switch to a sniper rifle to wallbang them, or you can just be ready for when they're going to run out. In PvE, it's useful to let your party members know which target you're hitting if voice communication isn't available for you. However, most of the mobs you kill die too quickly for it to really be of any use. So really, in all seriousness, the spray and play perk is going to be more beneficial in pretty much every single scenario. The marker talent just doesn't give enough extra awareness to warrant the combat effectiveness of spray and play. Okay, let's take a look at some of the perks of Fang of Iriut. Starting off here, we have the Red Dot ORS. It's a pretty high range and stability on this scope, but I'm not a fan of how closed off it is on the bottom half. It seems like you're looking through like a mail slot. I don't see enough with the scope, so I just don't like using it. However, stat-wise, this is probably the best one to use. Up next is the True Sight IS. It's a much more flexible sight. It's much more open, you can see a lot more around you. This is the one that I prefer to use. It also ups your reload a slight bit, at a slight hit to the range and stability. Personally, the range and stability hit isn't enough to really affect the gun in my opinion, so this is the one that I'm more comfortable using. Finally, we have the Focus Lens FLA5. Again, this one kind of hurts the stability and reload even more, but it does up the range. It's more of a longer range scope. Again, it's more closed off, so if you're using this at the longer ranges, then this is probably going to be the scope that you would want to use. Here we have Spray and Play. Increase the reload speed of this weapon when its mag is empty. Huge fan of this perk. It's useful in pretty much every single situation, as who doesn't like faster reload? Since this weapon does have a low magazine size of 15, you're going to be using this perk a lot if you don't get the Field Scout perk. Up next here is the target mark. Enemies hit by this weapon are briefly highlighted. It's pretty interesting to use, however, as far as how useful it is, it's okay. It's kind of wasted for the most part. Here we have Highcaliber Rounds, oversized rounds built to stagger targets and leave them reeling. Their mass makes the weapon harder to handle. Again, Highcaliber Rounds, it doesn't make the weapon that much more difficult to handle. It's not anything too noticeable for the most part. The weapon handles beautifully on its own, and the slight degradation that you get from this doesn't really come into play. However, the Highcaliber Rounds perk is kind of just outweighed by the other two perks in the tree. While it is nice to, stagger your targets a bit, I think the stability and Field Scout are going to be more useful. And here we have Perfect Balance. This weapon has extremely low recoil. As you can see, it increases the stability by a massive amount. Personally, this is the perk that I use, as I would much rather have 15 rounds go exactly where I want them to than have more rounds from Field Scout. Plus, it plays nicely with spray and play, as you can empty the magazine pretty quickly and then actually reload it really quickly as well. Again though, that's more of a personal choice, and truly the one you should probably use is Field Scout, maximum ammo capacity. This will increase the magazine to 27. That adds an extra 12 rounds to the magazine. That's huge for scout rifles. Also, it'll increase your reserve. This will help you just keep pumping out damage against targets. It's a wonderful perk. This is the one that you probably should be using, but due to playstyle choices, I go with Perfect Balance. And then we have Third Eye. The radar stays active while aiming down this weapon's sight. I'm a huge fan of this perk in PvP. It's why I normally use Knucklehead Radar. This perk allows me to use a different helm, or just a different exotic in general. It actually becomes pretty useful in PvE too, aiming down scope a lot, especially if you're using Field Scout talent trying to chug damage in onto something, and you might not notice that one thrall kind of sneaking up on you. So it does come into play in PvE a little bit more. Finally, we have the Hive Disruptor perk. It does increase the damage to Hive Majors. If you do the shots too rapidly, sometimes it doesn't proc, so if you do them at like the normal rate of fire pace, correcting for your recoil, then you should get an extra little damage perk each time you damage a hive. As far as cosmetics go, Fang of Iriut is similar to the other weapons from Crota's End. It has a base scout rifle model, with various bones and other hive bits kind of growing out of it. Small green pulsating lights adorn parts of the weapon as well, which will also light up when you press the trigger down. The sights on the weapon are absent of these bones and lights though. I kind of wish they would have added that in there just to immerse yourself into the weapon a little bit more. Fang of Iriut is honestly one of the top scout rifles right now, mainly just due to its versatility. Its perk set allows it to be a powerhouse weapon in the Crucible due to Third Eye, high stability, and speed reload from an empty mag. A few tweaks later and it's destroying Hive with a massive 27 round magazine. The Third Eye perk, while mostly useful in PvP, is nice for when the fight's in Crota's End due to the threat of thralls kind of sneaking up on you always being there. While it lacks the full auto firing of Vision of Confluence, it's still an extremely easy weapon to use in pretty much every single situation. This is a weapon that you should immediately level and put the energies into to maximize your damage. I hope you've enjoyed this review. This has been Patrick Casey with Planet Destiny, your guide to the Destiny universe.